No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. All right, Miss Street. I'm sorry, force of habit. Meryl, I gotta go. All right. Okay, see you on Zoom. Yes, Friday night. All right, bye-bye. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. If you're watching this, you probably go to Orange County School of the Arts, aka OCSA. You're also probably an acting student, I think. And you're also probably a student of Miss Dorian, or as I call her, Stephanie. Don't worry, you'll get to call her that when you graduate. Hi, I'm Tamar Rubin. I am an OCSA alumni from the Acting Conservatory. I graduated in 2016. What's up? And how lucky you are to have Miss Dorian, aka Stephanie, as a teacher. She reached out to me to just basically talk a little bit about my experience coming from OCSA, going to college for acting, and of course I agreed because Miss Dorian is the best. So without further ado, welcome to my little slideshow. Just to prove to you all that I'm an OCSA alum, here are some photos from my time there. Oh my god, how embarrassing. I totally did not mean to include that photo of me being prom queen. Wow, yikes, I'm super embarrassed about that. Yes, I was prom queen, but that's besides the point. So I am currently a senior at Pace University, which is in New York City, aka the Big Apple. What's up? I study acting. More specifically, I'm in their major it's called a BA. Oh, those are my dogs. It's called a BA in Acting International Performance Ensemble. So what that means is at Pace, they have a BA, my program, the BFA in Acting, which is more of a traditional, you get a little bit of film and TV, a little bit of Shakespeare, contemporary, what have you, and then they have acting for film, television, and TV. So my program is more specified in devising theater, which means creating your own work. So something cool that we get to do is our freshman year, we work to create our own show. We have an outside director come in. We're split off into groups and we create our own original piece of theater. And then at the end of our sophomore year, that play is put up on Theater Row, which is off Broadway in New York City. And so I was in a show. Ours was called Safer Than Home. It was very cool. And then what we did after that was that summer, we got to take, so since here comes the international part, we got to take our show to a foreign country. So I went to Bulgaria for 2 weeks where we performed our show and then we devised an adaptation of Animal Farm with these Bulgarian artists. It was very crazy. It involved a lot of clay and a lot of dog harnesses. Eastern European theater is wild. And then after we performed it there, we brought it back to New York to perform again. So my program changed a little bit. So I only got to travel abroad in the summer. But now if you come to my school and join my program, you get to go for a whole semester. So last year, the juniors were in Spain for a semester studying acting. I don't know what grades are viewing this, but if you are thinking about after high school plans, perhaps college, if you are thinking about going into the arts, I know that's really scary. I was pretty gutsy when I was applying to schools, and I didn't apply to any schools in California. So no matter where I was going to be out of state, and that was a little freaky. So I ended up like last minute applying to a couple schools in California that I wasn't quite serious about. But ultimately, going to New York City to pursue a degree in acting was definitely the best decision I think I've ever made in my entire life. I love New York City so much. I miss it so much. I'm quarantined here in California, as I'm sure most of you are. But that move to New York I was pretty freaked out doing it because it's just such a crazy different place. But I would definitely say that I'm very grateful to have had college as a transition for that. Like my acting program, very big on a community. So instantly I kind of had a group of people that everyone was like, all right, time to be friends. And like we have a class called UMB 101, which all the freshmen have to take. And part of that class is just learning how to navigate New York. We have to go on scavenger hunts, learn how to use the subways, things like that. It's all very manageable. Being an OCSA alumni, especially from the acting conservatory, definitely was very helpful and prepared me for my college experience. Something that is a shared experience with a lot of my friends who went on to go to college, whether it was in the arts or not, is how much free time you're gonna have, especially that first semester. It is crazy. I had a full course load, and I had more free time in that first semester of college than I did throughout my entire 7th through 12th grade career at OCSA. OCSA as a whole definitely gave me time management skills that have proved to be very helpful during my college career. Don't get me wrong, I still procrastinate every once in a while, but it was super helpful coming from such a rigorous academic environment to college. I feel really lucky to have graduated from the acting conservatory before going to college for acting, just because it just gave me some confidence. Not that I was better than anyone, of course not, but that I just knew I had done this before. You know, when I would get nervous about my first day of school, I would just tell myself, like, it's just an acting class. You know, I've done acting classes. I've done them from 7th grade to 12th grade. And I have a great education. I have a great base. And like my entire class at Pace is extremely talented and extremely hardworking. But some of them had never taken an acting class before. Some of them had never been in a play before. Some of them didn't know what a slate was. Some of them didn't know what contemporary was versus classical. And like, that's all fine. If that's more than fine, because that's why we're at college. We're here to learn. But knowing those things just gave me confidence. And that confidence is like really key, especially when you're meeting people and meeting your teachers. And I'm very grateful to have had that, especially in my first semester. Okay, so now moving on a little bit from OCSA. I'm sure she will come up again, since she is my demographic at the moment. But moving on a little bit more to New York City, Pace University. If anyone is looking into colleges for acting, you know, there's a lot of amazing ones. I highly recommend Pace. I highly recommend New York City. I've been exposed to a lot of amazing things here. I've been in a lot of plays, just because there's so many opportunities to perform. A lot of student shows, a lot of student theater companies. I'm a big fan of improv and sketch comedy and stand-up comedy. I performed stand-up comedy for the first time at Pace University at this cabaret that we put on to raise money for something. I don't remember what we were raising money for. I guess we didn't raise that much, but I did stand-up for the first time there, and that was really great to do that in such a supportive environment of other artists. Being in New York City, I started taking outside of Pace improv classes at UCB, Upright Citizens Brigade, which is a little bittersweet because right when I started my first class of my last level ever, it shut down. But that's besides the point. New York City gave me that platform to try these things. I'm in a class right now, sketch comedy. I think it's definitely one of my favorite classes I've ever taken. My teacher, her name's Paula Christensen. She is from the Groundlings, which is in LA. Her husband's on Saturday Night Live. And it's the best class I've ever taken. We bring in sketches every week, just making you write. We have to write for ourselves. So by the end of the class, she wants us all to have a portfolio that we can submit so we can put on our own sketch show. New York City has so much art. Everywhere you go, just walking outside, I feel like there's art. And so because of where I am, where I'd like to go back to, I've been able to explore a lot of different things. And not to say you can't get that in other places. I'm sure that exists in so many places, but this is my own personal experience living in New York. I know when I was graduating at OCSA, I was just a little bit confused about what I wanted to do. I'm sure many people can relate. I knew that I loved acting and that I wanted to keep doing that. I also knew that I loved comedy, and I really wanted to explore sketch comedy and stand-up comedy, and I loved improv, and I wanted to get more into writing, and I thought maybe I should be a TV writing major, but I'd never written for TV before, written a TV show, but I thought it sounded compelling. I was actually, one of the other schools I was looking at was Emerson in Boston for at the time, their brand new major. It was called, I think, Comedy Studies, Comedy Writing and Performance, I think. And I was choosing between these because I was worried that if I went to a school for acting, I wouldn't have an opportunity to explore these other interests and passions. Obviously, I guess it wasn't obvious at the time, so I won't say that. That was wrong. I am going to PACE, and I've still had these opportunities to take other classes in acting and just see so much stuff in the city. See stand-up, see sketch shows, see improv shows. And so I'm really happy with the decision I made. And, I was interested in late night for a while and political talk shows. So I interned at Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, I think my sophomore year? No, my junior year. So I was able to do that, and also, of course, still study acting, still be an acting student. And my major is so much rooted in creating your own work. So that was also very helpful. Productions I was in at PACE was a student production of How I Learned to Drive by Paula Vogel. I performed that my sophomore year. Come the summer going into my senior year, I am notified that the director submitted it to the largest international theater festival in the world, which is in Sibiu, Romania, where basically they take a show, they try to, from every country, they try. But it was accepted, so I got to go to Sibiu, Romania for 12 days and see a ton of theater from around the world and perform a show that had subtitles for Romanian speakers. That was amazing. Pace University is also connected. Their master's program for acting is inside the Actors Studio, which used to be hosted by James Lipton, who unfortunately just passed away. But if you're a PACE student, you get kind of first dibs on those shows. So I got to go. You have to stand in line, but I saw Kristen Wiig talk, and I got to meet her afterwards, which was super cool. that was cool. I was gonna mention, besides my education, the connections I'm making with my friends. Everyone in my school is my friend. Well, okay, not everyone, but the friends I have, those eventually will be my colleagues, or the people that are going to make stuff that they're going to call me and I'm going to call them. And I guess the same thing is, the same thing is for OCSA. Those people you're with in class right now, your friends, those are the people that you're going to collaborate with. And that's pretty cool. And I think being in that acting class, I was there from 7th grade, so I was with a lot of people for 6 years, and that was such a learning environment that fostered collaboration, and you have to get along with people, even people who have different personalities, people who work in different ways, and that is essential, going to college and being in a performance conservatory, despite what anyone says about, certain programs, certain places will not people, images will foster the idea that you are against other people, that it's a competition, that, if I'm a white girl with brown hair and you're a white girl with brown hair, then we're going out for the same things. But it is so freeing and liberating and joyous to know that that's not true, and that of course, everyone is different and everyone brings a different essence, and I will play a different part, then you will play a different part, even if we look the same. But also that there is so much opportunity out there. And I think I learned this in OSHA just from being around people who were working. You know, I wasn't working or getting auditioning at all. I was just going to school, but I had friends who were working when I was there and who were booking. And very quickly, I learned, like, there is no reason to be jealous. There's only a reason to be excited for your friends when they book and when they make things, because those friends are the friends that you're going to work with. And just because your friend booked something, you know, that doesn't mean there's no more job for you. Like, that job wasn't meant for you. But other jobs will come. So I really do hope you continue to foster a supportive and loving environment at school, and especially in your acting classes. The friends I have, I mean, the quicker you can do that, the happier you will be, especially in this industry, pursuing this in education. You can see it when you meet someone, especially like in school, when you're spending so much time in a room with someone. Like, you can tell who's there to support other people and who's not. And the people who are there to support other people, in my experience, from what I've seen, are the ones who are on the up and up, who are booking, who are going on Broadway, like crazy stuff. You don't have to be malicious or competitive. I mean, have drive, but you don't have to tear other people down to get there. Not that I think you're doing that. Thank you, folks, very much for listening, for watching this, just listening to a little bit about my experience coming from OSHA, going to school. I hope this provided any insight into anything, maybe answered one question. If you checked your phone during this, I'm not upset at all. Getting an education via Zoom is extremely exhausting. So please, whatever you can do to take care of yourself, to make these times easier and more joyful, I wholeheartedly encourage. If anyone has any questions about anything I've talked about, any further elaboration or whatnot, please feel free to reach out. Miss Dorian will give you my email. I'm more than happy to chat. I've got a lot of free time. But yes, that is all from me. I hope everyone has a pleasant evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. See you later. Oh, also, if any of you have Mr. Pratt for a math class on Zoom, tell him that Tamar Rubin says ciao.